I have a boss who schedules time with me, seeks my help creating presentations or explaining concepts, and then presents them to senior management without inviting me to those meetings. He is always polite and appreciative in person and gives good bonuses. However, I end up working behind the scenes and lack visibility with senior management. Please suggest professional and effective ways for me to gain the visibility I deserve without damaging my relationship with my boss. Upsetting my boss will not help me achieve my goals. I need to encourage him to include me in high-level meetings. I considered avoiding him so he misses deadlines, which might prompt him to send me directly to stakeholders. What are your thoughts on this approach or any alternatives? Story 1. No, do not play games. The best approach is to have a conversation with him and let him know you have aspirations as well and want more visibility for your contributions at these meetings. Story 2. Just want to clarify. Are you sure that senior management is unaware of you and your contributions? I was in your position before and did not consider it. However, later on, when my supervisor was not present, they came directly to me with the same request. Subsequently, my supervisor instructed me to handle it directly. In my case, it was not that he wanted to take credit himself, but the meeting involved executive leadership and was generally very time-pressured. There was no time to have a junior or mid-level employee spend time presenting. Executive leadership meetings can be very intense and aggressive. They are not very suitable for junior or mid-level employees to attend and present. Story 3. If he has been nice to you, do not be a jerk to him. The easiest thing to do is arrange a catch-up. Tell him that you want to grow your skills, take the next steps in your career, and that you want him to be your mentor, shadow him, or whatever else you want to do. There are two possible outcomes. Either you get what you want or you do not. You can make your choices after that. Story 4. Evading responsibilities until he misses deadlines in hopes that he will turn things over to you is unlikely to result in the desired outcome. Have a career goals discussion with him and attempt to influence higher visibility that way. Story 5. So your plan is to ruin your job, which in turn ruins your boss's job, in hopes he will see the error of his ways and give you greater corporate visibility. The actual outcome of your plan is that you will be put on a performance improvement plan and you will need to rebuild your boss's confidence in you. Story 6. I sit in a lot of executive suite meetings and would never invite one of my staff unless it was truly necessary. The last time we had to bring a non-managerial staff member in, we scheduled an additional meeting that we joined during our normal meeting, let them present, then ended that call and returned to our regular meeting. As a manager, it is within my right to ask my staff to gather data for me. Sometimes I review it to ensure accuracy, and when I present data, I give credit to my team but take full ownership of it. Playing games will not get you noticed in the way you think it does. From my experience dealing with executives who have the ear of important government officials, those games never end well. I once had a staff member upset about not receiving full credit, so they reached out to someone several levels above me and initiated communication about a project. Within minutes, my boss called me asking what was going on. That person was reprimanded. What you could say is something like, "If you need any clarification during your meetings, just let me know. I am happy to assist," and leave it at that. Story 7. If you were not in the meetings, how do you know he did not give you credit? I have been very senior, and in my new position, I am lower in the hierarchy. Many things I do get presented by the chief executive, and it is my work. It is part of the arrangement. The only way around it is if I had the chief executive job again, which I could easily do, but my boss currently holds that position. He does say the chief executive helped me make this presentation, even though it is really my presentation, my ideas, work, and experience. It is difficult to be in a position where you feel you are more senior than you are. Do not forget that often you do not get blamed if things do not work out. If I were you, next time you receive a good review, try to join some of these meetings. See what the response is. Sometimes you do not have all the information either, so if it is working, approach it gently. Story 8. I'm in a similar position. I do the work and my supervisor presents. With one exception, he told me and is preparing me for when I will have to present and answer detailed questions during the presentation, where I cannot make mistakes. So maybe your supervisor is protecting you without you knowing. Story 9. Have you communicated the career trajectory you want with your supervisor? That you are interested in moving up the ladder and taking on more responsibility. People are not psychic. As someone who has been brought into these high-level meetings, they are tiring and unproductive. You get 2 to 3 people bickering about how there needs to be a plan without actually planning anything. Although they are all saying the same thing, they argue with each other. It is a waste of time and usually takes 4 to 5 times longer to get anything done. Story 10. I love bosses like the one you are describing. At this point in my career, I just want to coast. I want to be behind the scenes putting in an honest 8 hours while my boss is doing all the tasks I dislike. Like being in a boardroom with stuffy executives. Your boss might assume you are like me. You need to have a conversation with them and communicate your aspirations. Story 11. Here are some off-the-cuff suggestions depending on how pointed or direct you want to be. I would love to present this with you to senior management so that I can understand their concerns about future topics. When is the next meeting? I would like to attend to present this after investing so much time into it. I don't feel comfortable working with you on this project because it feels dishonest when I am not given the credit I deserve, which is holding me back in my career. Story 12. Also keep in mind that if he gets promoted, you will be his replacement, and he knows that. He will put in a good word for you in the future. Whatever the case, if he is nice to you, do not try to make him miss his deadlines, as that will not benefit you. Story 13. Is your work more solo or team-oriented? Success and advancement in corporate politics are very similar to actual politics. Merit is rarely what advances your career. Like in politics, you need support, specifically from your peers in similar roles and your leadership team one level above you. This does not mean you need to become a sycophant or doormat. Help your peers with small things, but don't let it impact your work or let them take advantage of your kindness. The influential people in the office are often the first considered for advancement. Learn names and facts about your peers. Attend work social events. Instead of only doing backroom projects with leadership, initiate your own projects. If your company has an engagement team, join it. If not, find out how to start one yourself. I worked in private sector corporate education for years before moving into government education. We were a team of around 70 people in similar roles. When a management spot opened, I was far from the ideal candidate. Still, I was one of the final 2 choices after narrowing it down. The other candidate had several years of experience over me and a master's degree in adult education, which was our actual job. I got the job over him, which surprised me, so I asked why. To be blunt, he was selfish and only looked out for himself. Part of the hiring process involved peer input, since peers often know more about a person than their bosses. They said I was kind, helpful, reliable, and always trying to improve. That made all the difference and is the main reason for my success now. Be a good person and teammate. Make appropriately distant friends with your peers. Above all, never act or speak in a way that conveys desperation. In summary, working hard rarely leads directly to success. Being well-respected and well-known can give you a significant advantage in advancing your career. Story 14. Next time this happens, let him know that you would like more exposure to leadership. I have been in this situation before, and if he is a good boss, he will allow it. If he is not, he will keep you behind the scenes, and it is time to either change roles or move to a new company. Story 15. It was not intelligence that got me here. I can assure you of that. Not all supervisors are in their position because they know everything. Story 16. Think about a constructive way to phrase your request. Instead of saying, "I won't do," say, "I would like to speak personally on these topics. Would you be able to incorporate me into your portion of the presentations? I would also love to take on any opportunities to make similar presentations to senior leadership as a growth opportunity." If he says no or says yes but does not follow through, you have your answer. From there, start looking for a role elsewhere that fits your career goals. Do not deliver ultimatums to your bosses. That is a recipe for making your remaining time in a position miserable. Discuss your desires and goals with them if you feel comfortable doing so. If they do not follow through, you should find a new job. Story 17. First, Update your curriculum vitae to include details of projects you have worked on confidentially. Send it to hiring managers or recruiters in your field. When you receive positive feedback or a job offer, you will have a stronger position to negotiate. Next, schedule a meeting with your manager and express that you would like their support as you seek a promotion. With their backing, you believe it would be assured. This also demonstrates that the company promotes from within. After the meeting, follow up with an email thanking your manager for their time discussing the potential promotion. Blind carbon copy the email to your personal address. If your manager resists, you can resign with a job offer and likely a salary increase. Think strategically. Story 18. A rising tide lifts all ships. If he gets promoted, he will almost certainly bring you with him as you know what you are doing. Let him do the exhausting task of putting on a facade and attending those meetings. That said, if you want visibility, ask him. Story 19. I was this kind of person at one of my last companies. I was paid a lot of money, and coming from a military background, I actually liked that no one looked to me to solve problems other than my boss. In the Army, I lived under the mindset that problems roll downhill until they get to the bottom, and often they roll back uphill. If you weren't anywhere on the hill, it never affected you. But I still documented all the work I did. Every project I worked on, every report I created, and every macro I wrote, I documented. That way, when it came time to move on, I had a list of accomplishments and projects to discuss in interviews. As long as you are fairly compensated, I would be fine with your current situation. But if you aspire to improve your career with your current employer, you should speak with your boss and work something out. In the meantime, review everything you have done so far so you have evidence to support your request. Story 20. You can try something like, "Sorry, I have some personal obligations I need to meet at this time, so I cannot assist with this. However, I know you will do great. You have always had excellent responses to your presentations in the past." This acknowledges your own work and highlights your value while remaining supportive. In summary, be assertive but respectful. Set boundaries warmly, showing that you value yourself but believe others can be good leaders. You can help them become better leaders. If you fear punishment for setting boundaries, you may be in a toxic environment and should consider reviewing your options. Story 21. As long as he can help you get promoted and does, it shouldn't matter too much unless you are essentially making his career for him. Going over his head in most cases is not going to be helpful for you, but you can take the risk if you want to. Story 22. And what you are doing for your boss is not part of your job. This sounds completely normal to me, and you will absolutely harm yourself if you do what you are suggesting. You can, however, offer to present. I would not tell them you will not do your job anymore without recognition from senior management. It sounds like you are trying to blackmail them, and they will notice that. Story 23. One effective way is to stop handing over fully polished work. Instead, send outlines or drafts with a note like, "Happy to walk through this in person to give full context." This naturally creates opportunities to be present at important meetings. You are not demanding recognition. You are positioning yourself as someone who needs to be in the room for clarity and efficiency. Over time, leadership will notice who actually drives the work. Story 24. Tell him directly what is going on and negotiate a better exchange for your work. Higher bonuses, more vacation time, higher salary. Story 25. This is exactly your job. Please ask to be included in the next level meetings for further development. Story 26. You perform in a manner that gets him promoted and brings you up with him or transferred to where he wants to be, knowing he has you as his replacement. You said yourself he is a good person. He may not be getting everything right, but you get financially rewarded and put on tasks that give you access to his supervisors. He is literally training you. Not everything needs a pat on the back or an awards ceremony. Story 27. The best manager I have ever had did exactly this. My main focus was making sure he was prepared and well-informed. I understand you want visibility, but your manager may be supporting you by giving you the cover you need to be productive. It is hard to know the situation from a few sentences, but I highly encourage you to talk to your manager and see if they see it differently than you do. Story 28. I have found that 99% of all decisions about your future are made without you being present. If your supervisor speaks well of you, and you demonstrate a willingness to put in the work and take on more challenges, things will go well. It might sound unusual, but your supervisor saying something positive about you to their supervisor carries more weight than you making a pitch or leading the presentation in front of them. There are times when it works well, and if offered a chance, you should always take it, but do not try to bypass your supervisor. Story 29. Well, your job is to make him look good. He does not think you are ready for chief executive officer meetings. It is brutal. Story 30. Prepare to be fired and retroactively blamed for everything he has ever done wrong. You may also be blamed for the failure of future projects. Look for another job while you are still in good standing. Leave quietly and discreetly. Keep in mind that he is fully aware of what he is doing, the position he is in, and the position he has you in. It is necessary for him to maintain this state, possibly for his own survival. He will fight and lie to maintain this state. Story 31. This will not end well. The standard soporific is you will be rewarded, except you will not be. It will not get you significant increases, a better bonus, more benefits, or a promotion. You are effectively doing his job. He is not telling anyone it is due to your work. If it were me, I would prepare to lose the job by sending him a memo detailing what I have done, which is part of his job. Copy human resources, his manager, the department executive, and request a meeting to discuss formal recognition for what you have been doing. It will greatly upset him. Human resources will not care, his manager will ignore and delete the email, and the executive might have a good laugh and immediately delete it. If you want to keep your job, find ways to do less of his work without being obvious. Can you take sick days? When he is under pressure to get something done on a deadline, call in sick for 2 days in a row, etc. Story 32. Start going for smoke breaks with his supervisor and having casual conversations. Then begin providing him with less accurate information while telling his supervisor what he should have done. Congratulations. You have now got your supervisor's job. Story 33. Now I like you, Nina, and I look forward to our time together. But you have to understand, 15,000 is not all that I want. From now on, I want my work to be credited by the anchors and on air. The name of my company is Video Production News, a professional news gathering service. That's how it should be read and said. I also want to take the next step and meet your team, the station manager, the director, and the anchors, and begin developing personal relationships. I'd like to start meeting them this morning. You'll take me around, introduce me as the owner and president of Video Production News, and remind them of some of my many other stories. I'm not done. I also want to stop our discussion over prices to save time. When I say a particular number is my lowest price, that is my lowest price, and you can be assured I arrived at that number very carefully. When I say I want these things, I mean I want them and do not want to ask again. Lastly, Nina, I want you to do the things I ask when we are alone, not like last time. I have the van crash on Moore Park tonight. It involved a couple of stringers. That could lead by itself. On an average night, I'd be willing to throw that in for free. So what do you say? Do we have a deal? Story 34. This is an age-old question. A boss steals your idea and takes the credit. That is a bad boss, just in case you did not know. I used to have a boss who would say, "If I can make you look good, then I look good." He would call and ask, "What can I do to make it work for you today?" An amazing person. You have to let him know that you need the credit or the motivation runs dry. Story 35. You may have made yourself too valuable to move. If you end up promoted, who will carry his load and fill gaps in his knowledge? This is a classic bad boss syndrome. Ineffective bosses rely on their employees' knowledge and present it as their own. This has happened to me several times. It won't change. Good managers will recognize potential employees from the beginning. Their skill is the ability to see potential instead of hiding their incompetence. For me, at least, the only way out of this situation was to apply for a higher position in another company. If he doesn't hold you back now, his bosses will see whose work it really is, which risks the job he cannot do. Story 36. He is taking advantage of your skills and using you to create success at the expense of your own. Most other managers would have already made you visible to higher-level leadership. It seems they are intentionally holding you back. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.